First, here come the holidays and the unsolicited advice on the best way to parent from your loved ones who may have some generational differences and lots of opinions, right? We all know that. To help us sort through the noise, we've got Dr. Sheryl Ziegler who's joining us today. Okay, so one of the things that a lot of people have heard the phrase of is gentle parenting. As a new mom myself, I don't totally get it or totally understand it. So what does it entail?
Well, for the fact that you don't get it or understand it is the norm, right? It's not a real psychological or parenting theory. It's just something that's come about mainly through social media. But gentle parenting means really, the psychological term is permissive parenting.
Okay.
So it means there might not be a lot of, boundaries that are very clear, and you're very attuned to your child's feelings, which is great. And you're very attuned to your own.
Okay.
So you regulate yourself first, and then you go into helping your child. And there's a lot, like a joke about it would be, there's a lot of sort of hugging it out. There's a lot of like, you're upset, let me give you a hug. It's a very affectionate, very warm style of parenting.
Okay, so you were saying that it kind of came about with social media, but has there been any research into it? Has there been any closer look at the benefits or the downfalls of it?
No, because this isn't really a real philosophy. It's sort of, there's some aspects that are taken from what we call attachment parenting that does have research. There's some parts of it that come from the more permissive style that was studied by Dr. Baumrind. But what happens is it's a hodgepodge, and it's probably some social media influencers that have tried some of these things, and maybe they've worked well for them.
Gotcha.
Right? So then now they're sharing it with hundreds of thousands to millions of followers, and people are trying to figure this out.
Right.
But there's not really a real book for it. The closest thing would be Dr. Becky. She's very popular on Instagram. She would be the closest thing, but I think she would probably not be happy that her style would be associated with a lack of boundaries. Although that's the way that it winds up getting translated.
Right, especially if you don't fully understand it.
Right.
And parenting is confusing as it is. So can you talk about, with all of that context, what are the benefits of it and what are some of the downfalls of it?
Absolutely. I mean, the benefits are that you are really attuned to your kids' feelings. You're not going to dismiss their feelings. You are also should be quite self-aware of what triggers you, what are your buttons, where do you do well. I think that stuff's great. The other part around, if I made it to actually permissive parenting, one of the positives is kids have good self-esteem with it.
Sure.
Because someone was highly attuned to their feelings. But the downsides are really long. The downsides are around, you don't really know your boundaries well, you have poor social skills, you can be aggressive, you can have this sense of entitlement or just, just I want what I want and I'm going to have a huge fit around it because no one's telling me actually that's not what's going to happen.
Wow.
So the way it's been transcribed in terms of gentle parenting, the word gentle in and of itself means, be gentle. This is fragile. And I don't think that children are fragile in that way in terms of the structure and the boundaries and consistency that they need.
I have found that so much with my 2-year-old, where it's all of a sudden structure makes the biggest difference in a day. We're almost out of time, but just for folks who are I just need to figure out and learn more about this, where would you direct them for a good source of information?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I probably would not really be taking them towards social media, just because those are really small snippets of information without a lot of context. I think if a parent really wants to understand their kid, first of all, developmentally, you should be reading a book. An actual book, because usually that person has been a lot more vetted. They're usually associated with a university, something like that. But read a book that is around their developmental age. And so I think if you start there, you'll do well. And then there's actual more solid, love and logic. There are some parenting philosophies that have been around for a long time. And again, you might wind up picking and choosing. I pick and choose some from that. I don't do everything. But I think actually reading a book or going to seek out you can just go see a parenting consultants.
Professional help.
Professional. So I think if you really want something like that, really go there.
Solid
Social media is great for the 1 second hopefully boost or
Right.
inspiration.
Not
to make
the
you
long
feel
term.
bad.
All right. Thank you. That is such good advice. We really appreciate it.